Hi, my name is Shirley Appleton and welcome to my training snapshot video. In this case study, we're looking at solving head tossing anxiety in a young horse that presented to me in a clinic. Now, everything I do is really based on this great training quote. The key question is not how do I stop the problem behavior, but rather the question is what do I want the horse to do instead, and then I teach it. So I got presented with this horse here, lovely young horse. When he came in, he was being ridden in rings to hold his head down because when he felt the response, like a pressure on the rein, he would throw his head up in the air quite aggressively, and that made it quite dangerous to ride. So this photograph was taken when I asked his owner to remove the rings, and you can see he's going around in this hollowed posture, and which is not uncomfortable, and he was quite anxious. By the end of the clinic, this is what he went around like because he had been taught. We focused on teaching him the correct response to the rein. So you can see now, instead of when he feels pressure, and you'll see as the footage progresses, when he feels pressure on the rein, instead of throwing his head up, which had become a habit, we now taught him to soften in his poll and relax, and to actually lower his head. And of course that improved his posture, which improved his comfort, which solved his anxiety issues. Okay, so this is the bit of footage first when we had first removed the rings. You can see them dangling there on his chest. And to start off, he was quite anxious, so we let him move. So letting him move, however, I focused on just getting him more confident with the lateral response. So when one rein was picked up, okay, here is the next day when we're testing what we had learned on the first day, which was him being able to follow and soften that rein laterally. And you can see he was no longer throwing his head up with that. He was following that around nice and softly. However, now this is the first time we picked up two reins to teach this response, and you can see there's his habit of throwing his head in the air. So what we're doing here is waiting for him just to soften at that pole and then release. So here he is a few moments later when we had just repeated what we wanted to teach him, which was the softening of the pole in the vertical flexion. So when both reins were picked up, to actually soften at the pole and drop his head. Now here we progressed to, now when he got that response to standstill very good, we now allowed him to travel forward, and again we're just picking up the rein, inside hand and then outside hand, just like we were doing at a standstill, and when he softened at the pole we release the rein, just to say that yes, that's the correct response. Now here he is at the end of the session, and you can see now he's actually traveling around with a low head. Okay, he's discovering a more comfortable posture for himself, and there we go. When he's picked up, he just really softens at the pole, and you can see him just really traveling around now quite softly and in a better posture. So there's my little training snapshot. I hope that gave you some ideas. Please follow me on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, and please communicate to me if there's anything you'd like me to help you with.